What's going on, guys? This is TigerHasTheKicks.com, and today we're going to talk about the Jordan 11 High Varsity Red or Cherry. Now, you know that every December, right around the 10th and the 15th, Nike drops a pair of Jordan 11. That has been the tradition, and this year is not going to be the exception. Now, you know people are looking forward to the sneaker, but I don't think it's the same buzz or the same anticipation like it was, like, I guess, 10 or 12 years ago. Nonetheless, it's a pair of Jordan 11. Everybody wants it, and it's going to be again creating a lot of, I'll say, pandemonium. Now, I'm not going to talk about what the shoe looks like. You've probably seen tons of videos online already about the shoe, so we are not going to waste time talking about how the shoe has that patent leather, the mesh on the top, and also your traditional or your signature carbon fiber. Now, I've seen the performance video that I really like by Zach, the foot doctor. He breaks down the Jordan 11, and I got to tell you, this is probably one of the best breakdown I've seen in a long time. The 11 is probably one of the best performing shoes if you don't know. So I would highly recommend you watching that video. Now, without further ado, let's jump into the sneaker. So first thing we want to talk about is how much the shoe cost. It's about $225. The style code is CT8012116, and it's white, varsity red, and black. And if you want to know where to get it, I'm going to give you a list of retailers. You have Nike, of course, Foot Locker, Champs, Finish Line, JD Sports, Snipes, YCMC, which is Shoe City, Jimmy Jazz, DTLR, Chic Shoes. You have Hibbert. You have a bunch of places that are getting it. And if you can get access to it, then you can always go on eBay or StockX to get access to the sneaker. Now we're going to talk about how many pairs are going to make the stock numbers. Now, several years ago, I wrote an equation and I talked about the amount of pairs of Jordan 11 that Nike drops every year. And when I ran my numbers, based on my equation, I realized that for the most part, they come up with between 1.5 and 2 million pair. For example, the Legend Blue, they had like 983,242 pairs. And then you have your 11 7210, that was 1,073,149. And then you also had the Space Jam. The Space Jam was about, I would say, 1,300,000. That's the win like 82. So this year is not going to be the exception. So you already know that they had the early access. That was like a few weeks ago, right? And when they did that, Nike dropped about 49,799 pairs. So when I did my numbers, I think for this year, Nike sneakers alone is going to have about 250,000 pairs. And if that makes up about 1/5 of the entire inventory, we can stretch it to like five times. So that's going to give you a total of 1,250,000. So I'm thinking it's going to be anywhere between 1.2 and 1.5 or even close to 2 million pair. It would not surprise me. It's a Jordan 11, and you know a lot of people are going to want that shoe. So that's the case. So I'm gonna give you more accurate numbers when we get close to 24 hours after the shoe releases. I will have access to like more solid data. But for now, just know that it's gonna be between 1.2 and 1.5 or even close to 2 million pairs. That's not gonna be a surprise. All right. So the next thing we want to talk about is the resale value. So before we talk about the resale value, we need to see how the shoe has been changing over the course of time. So if you look at my chart, you can see that between December the 6th and December the 7th, the shoe went from $292 to $294, and that's increased by $2 within a 24-hour period, which is really interesting. But then I'm going to give you my 5-number summary. So the 5-number summary basically gives you a breakdown of how the shoe is doing as far as like the lowest, the highest, and the percentages of how the data is spread. So as you can see, the lowest sale recorded was 268. That was for a size 10, and the highest sale was 320, and that was for a size 5.5. And then 25% of the shoes sold for prices between 268 and then 287, and then 50% of the shoes sold for prices between 287 and 299. And the highest sales, that is the top 25%, sold for prices between 299 and then 320. Now, 320 is actually considered an outlier, which is basically saying that this is not regular, it's an outlier. So that size 5.5 was irregularity. Okay, so if you remove the outlier, the high sale becomes 310, which is a size 13, and the overall average resale value is $293 or $295, and that's like a 3% volatility. That's below normal, which is pretty good. That means the prices are not going to change considerably. It's going to be either higher than 3% or less than 3% of the 293. So that's how much you're going to be selling the shoes for. So it's going to be anywhere between 270, 275, 280, and maybe a little close to $300. So between 285 or $300. That's what's going to happen. So the shoe has a 15% sell through rate, which is actually surprising. I thought for a pair of Jordan 11, sell through would be probably through the roof, like above 40%, but this is like 15%, which means they're not selling as quick as you think they're gonna sell. Now that's going to affect the sell through rate, because what's going to affect the sell through rate is because there's a lot of pairs, there's a lot of people that want to sell it. It's a lot that they've made, so it's not going to sell as quick as you think it would. So now 293, your profit is like $28, and that's a 12% markup, which is below average. Meaning, really, you shouldn't resell the shoe based on these numbers. $28 on a $225 investment is not great. So according to our evaluation, the Cherry 11 is not a good shoe to resell. Now it's certainly going to sell out. That's not going to be a problem, but you're not gonna make like some type of like home run on it. So gone are the days when the 11s was a gold mine. Now, is this shoe worth reselling or investing in for the long term? Like if you do, should you buy it and hold on to it and wait and see that within a year or 2 years you're gonna make some money on it? We're gonna figure that out, right? So what I'm gonna do is this: I'm gonna show you how much your shoe is gonna be worth within the next 12 or 30 months. So you need to keep in mind that at some point it's going to plateau, meaning the price is not going to change. It's going to hit a certain level where it's going to be the same for a long period of time. That's just a given. So I ran some simulations and I came up with an equation that can give you basically how the shoe is going to grow over time. So basically, if you see it on my board, the shoe is going to change according to this equation. It's going to be 0.0126 times time plus 293, meaning the shoe is going to increase by $0.0126 every day beginning January the 26th, right? So you can figure out how much this is going to be worth on December the 10th of 2023. So the gap between the 10th and the 27th of January is about 318 days. So if you plug in the 318 for the time and times it by the rate of change or the slope, you come up with like 297 or almost $300. So what is this telling you? That means that even after a year, prices are not going to change significantly. After 2 years, the shoe will be worth about $308 based on my simulation. That's a very slow growth. So at 308, you're looking at a 41% profit margin. That's a 17% markup, 1.14 times above average. Meaning, if you buy the shoe now and hold it for 2 years, you're going to be making $41 in 2 years. So suppose you get one pair, you basically going to wait 2 years to make about $41. Now, that's relatively good because it's above average, but I would not recommend investing in it simply because the capital invested is just way too high. I mean, I'm not going to put 225 to just come up with 45 unless you have multiple pairs. And then talk about multiple pairs, is it even worth it? Now, I do a breakdown of the Air Max Penny 1 All Star, and I discussed his resale value like 48 hours ago. So I came up with something really interesting. Now, for most Penny 1s, you don't expect to see any changes within at least 21 or 22 months. It takes time. Now, for this particular pair, they came up with like 3,482 pairs. That's what Nike released, right? Now, the shoe is probably going to hit the 220 mark within the next I guess 12 or 18 months, right? And you can expect it to continue to climb or remain constant. So here's the good news for the long-term investor. If you're trying to buy this shoe and invest in it for the long term, current prices are like 18% to 40% below the MSRP, the retail price. And this is a golden opportunity. So if you invest in that shoe now, you're looking at a 120% markup within a 2-year span. You're going to earn between $60 and $100 per shoe. So the Penny 1 yields to a 120% markup, while the Cherry 11 only yields to a 17% markup. So the penny one can currently be purchased below retail, about 10% to 18% below the MSRP. So if you bought 40 pairs at 160 as an investment, it will cost you an investment of $6,400. While if you buy 40 pairs of the Cherry 11, it will cost you $9,560. That is if you can purchase for them for retail. So there's no guarantee. So if you buy 40 pair of the Penny One All Star at 6,400, you're going to be making a profit of $7,680 in 2 years. But if you buy the Cherry 11, 40 pairs are retail for 9,560, you're going to be getting a profit of $1,625. So I'll let you decide which one is best. Investing 6,000 to make 7,000 in profit, or investing 9,000 to make $1,625 in profit. Again, you have to gauge, especially if you're an investor, you have to think through these things. Just because the 11 is like creating a lot of buzz, there's so many shoes flying under the radar that are going to cost you less money but then bring a higher return. The difference between 120% and 17% is high. It's almost like 103%. So if I'm you, I'm not going to invest in the Jordan 11 Cherry. I'd rather invest in the Penny One All-Star. Okay? So that's all I wanted to talk about today. By the way, I wrote an article on discovering when the Cherry 11 is fake or real. You can check it. I'll provide a link in the description. You can go and check that out. All right, that's it for today. If there's any other shoe that you want me to talk about, please do email or send me a message and I'll do that. Now, I'll also invite you to go and read my entire article on the Penny One. I may put it on YouTube, I may not because of time constraint, but check it out and that should help you. There's a lot of shoes that I write about on a daily basis. I just don't have the time to put it on YouTube. So if you want to get access to this information ASAP, check the website dailyhouseofkicks.com, HOUSAKICKS.com. Again, thanks for watching. This is Taib, and stay tuned for more stuff.